Hey everybody, James with Love My Pups, My Breeder Supply. So today I'm going to talk about holistic medicine, natural remedies, and what I think about those. So I've had a few calls where people have asked about specifically, well, I got a call the other day, and this gentleman was number one was saying that he was feeding a raw food diet to his dogs. So immediately I knew that he cared about his dogs because he's taken the time and effort and expense to feed them some special foods. So that's the first thing. Then he started to talk about natural remedies for fleas. He was having a flea problem, and then he was not going to do vaccinations. And so I'm really against part of what he was saying there. So we kind of had a conversation about it. Now, look. Do I absolutely know that what I'm saying is correct? No. So remember, keep your bullshit meter going whenever you hear anything from anybody, including me, because don't always get what is absolutely the right information. And so the answer is, I don't absolutely know about some of this. So first off is raw diets. There's lots of people who feed raw diets. There's a couple of things that I'm not crazy about on raw diets, and the big one is pathogens, because you can have, it's not pasteurized, it's not sterilized. You could have problems with in salmonella and those kind of things. So I'm not a huge candidate for raw diets, but there's a lot of people who do it, so I'm going to get some flack over this. But I definitely like to have quality food, and quality foods are not cheap. So what do we feed? The answer is we feed life's abundance. That's what we feed. It's not cheap. In fact, we have to order it and get it delivered. I don't think you can go buy that in a store anywhere. And if you're interested in this product, my son actually is a distributor for the product, and I get it from him. Been feeding that for the last 9 months, like it. It definitely cuts down some of the allergy problems we've seen with other foods. Anyway, so don't want to plug that too hard because that's not really the purpose of this video. But again, there's people who feed raw chicken and things like that, and hey, I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying just be a little bit careful about pathogens. Now, as far as vaccinations are concerned, first off, you have to give a rabies shot. If you don't give a rabies shot, then you are in violation of what you're supposed to be doing for your animals. You have to get a rabies shot, folks. It's a dangerous disease. It not only will kill your animals, it'll kill you. You've got to go get your rabies shots and your boosters on a yearly basis. And if you don't do that, you're not in compliance with the law. So to me, there's actually no argument about this at all. Rabies is mandatory. So then what shots do we give? We give shots and this can vary. You don't have to necessarily follow this regime. But what we do is we give shots. These are weeks. 6 weeks. 9 weeks, and 12 weeks. Someone's coming in at 12 weeks. We give shots. In fact, we give these first two before they ever leave home. This is the reason that we don't let puppies leave home until they're 10 weeks old, because we want to have that shot done and make sure there's no reaction to it. I've never had a shot reaction, but people say it can happen. So just to be safe, we like to wait till they've had the 9-week shots and wait a little bit. There's lots of different shots. We use a 5-way shot, but your Bordetella, Parvo, and other things, your kind of kennel cough, these are all things that you're protecting against these shots. I think you're crazy if you don't do this. Look, so there's these anti-vaxxers out there, and I mean, I don't believe in any of this anti-vaxxer rubbish myself. I mean, I think that we should all be vaccinated, and the whole idea against vaccinations is it doesn't guarantee you won't get it. Some of these things, let's talk for a minute about coronavirus. There's going to be a vaccination for coronavirus here in the next bit. 3 months, 6 months, something like that. So, will the vaccination of coronavirus guarantee that you won't get coronavirus? No. The flu shots, cat's climbing up on me, the flu shot, I get that every year. But I'm always running to people who say, oh, I got the flu shot and I got the flu anyway. Yes. The problem with the flu shot is it doesn't protect all 11 strains of the flu, and the CDC comes up with what they think is the most likely flu strain to get a grip of things in the season, and they then provide that flu shot. And flu shots are not 100% guaranteed. The whole idea behind this is it gives you immunity, and most of the time, and it gives us herd immunity that stops this thing becoming a huge problem like COVID is. You should get your shots. I think you're crazy if you don't. It's not expensive. You can do these yourself. You can order these on places like Animal Revival. I think it's like $6, $7 a shot. I think you're crazy if you don't do this. Parvovirus is extremely infectious, and if a dog gets parvovirus, there's a very good chance it won't survive it, and there's also a good chance that all the other puppies that you've got and all the other young animals that you've got will get parvovirus too. So I would not muck around. So I'm harping on this. I would not muck around and avoid and get the shots. Get the shots, folks. It just I just don't see any reason not to get the shots. Okay. So now this whole holistic thing. So now I believe in verified tested results, double-blind studies where things have been tested. When somebody on a site says that they've got a product they're going to sell you, and if it's not backed up with an independent double-blind study, then anything they say you can assume maybe is not really correct, because they probably just don't know. So here's some things that I'm pretty sure don't work. I'm going to get crap over this. Acupuncture. Acupuncture. My guess is a waste of time. Hey, look, here's the good news about acupuncture. You're not going to do any harm other than your wallet. I mean, if you think that acupuncture is going to help your dog, how the heck you'd know, I have no idea. But the point here is you're probably not going to do any harm with acupuncture. But the double-blind studies on acupuncture say that probably it doesn't do much good in human trials anyway. So not a fan of that one. Not a fan of that one. Homeopathic remedies. Homeopathic remedies. Homeopathic remedies. Not a fan of that one either. Especially when the idea behind this is that you have a very, very, very small amount. Oh, there's a cat that's got on that. Cats, get out of here. Silly cats. The idea behind homeopathic is that you have a very, very small amount of something that's harmful, and you mix it and dilute it and dilute it and dilute it to what they call a 10-time solution, and you then take that. The problem is, with a 10-time solution, there is none of the original product in the solution you're taking. More rubbish in my book, just rubbish. I mean, just rubbish. So, the problem with these things is that if you give a homeopathic remedy, some of the times it absolutely appears to work, because lots of times things just resolve themselves. I mean, when you go to the doctor, if you hadn't gone to the doctor, 80% of the time, the thing would resolve itself anyway, and you think the doctor did some magic for you, and in fact, it just was going to resolve itself anyway. The problem is with homeopathic remedies is you're not doing the thing that would probably fix the problem. So let's talk about particular things. I mean, look, if you've got worms, if your dog is pooping worms out, if you've got worms, then go get the right treatment. Identify the worm and then apply the appropriate medicine. Anacure, Safeguard, Pyrantel, I can't even pronounce it right, Nemex 2. There's a number of products out there that are all to do with worming animals, depending on what kind of worms you've got. So this person I talked to the other day wanted to do some, he was going to use diatomaceous earth and sprinkle it on the ground, and I don't know what, but I mean, he asked me what I thought about it, and I said, hey, I think it's bunk. Go get the right medicine. These medicines are proven to work, not only in dogs, but in human beings too. They're dirt cheap. They're so inexpensive. It doesn't. I mean, you should be worming every 2 weeks on your puppies after they're 2 weeks old, routinely, just to keep these things under control. So, it's the same thing with things like antibiotics. Look, antibiotics work. I mean, they're proven over the last 60 years. Since World War II, millions of lives have been saved with antibiotics, humans and dogs. But you've got to use the antibiotics correctly. You don't use antibiotics for things like viruses and colds. You've got to take the appropriate antibiotic that's correct for the kind of bacteria that you're trying to get rid of. And you have to take it correctly. You have to complete the whole course. You don't stop just because a dog seems better after 3 days. You don't stop. You continue for whatever was prescribed, the 8 days, the 10 days, whatever it was. But so you can tell that I'm a little bit frustrated with people when they want to start going outside the regime of what we understand as being the correct way to treat things. I personally would stick with known products that come from the veterinary medicine that are known to work. And I think that if you start trying to do your own remedies that are kind of, you know, the old wives' tales remedies, that you're gonna have some problems, and that's not a good thing to do. So I believe in science. I believe in products that have been tested and true and work. I know that there's still a certain amount of risk with these, but I think there's probably a lot less risk in getting an over-the-counter medication designed specifically to treat the particular thing that you're trying to deal with. So that was it. Don't want to make people mad, and you know, hey, everybody's got their own opinions about this, and of course, you know, you're allowed to do whatever you want, except the rabies, folks. You've got to get the rabies shot. The rest of it, you know, you could do what I consider to be silly. You may have some bad consequences from it, but I would worm your puppies on a regular basis. I would give them all their shots on time. I would make sure that all the dogs have rabies shots. And if you're having any problems that you can't solve yourself, it's not obvious, it's time to go to the vet and seek some medical diagnosis to go get the right treatment. Because some of these things, you just can't get the medicines over the counter. Hey, again, thanks for watching. If you like what we're doing, subscribe to us. We've got great products. Take a look at those. And remember, the most important thing is be good to your puppies and your doggies. Bye, everybody.